One of the important things for us to talk about in managing a chronic disease is about our values. And this is about having a sense of meaning or purpose. And so values are about how we want to show up. They're the kind of person we want to be. They're about what or who really matters to us. And they're a bit different than goals because goals are things that happen or don't happen, but we don't always have control over achieving our goals. There are many aspects about achieving a goal that may actually be outside of our direct control. But values are always under our direct control because they're about how we want to show up as a human. They're about how we want to behave, how we want to show up, who we want to be. And they're available to us at any time, at any point. We can be accessing and expressing our values. And so they're really about what matters most to us and about who we want to be. Values can become a compass. So, especially in uncertainty, we can use values as a way to guide our decisions. So, for example, if people are deciding whether they want to take a new job or move to another city, they often make these pros and cons lists. But another way of doing that is to clarify your values about what really matters to you, what's important to you, what kind of life you're trying to build, how you want to connect with the world and contribute to the world. And does taking that job move you closer or further away from that person that you're trying to be? Does moving to that city move you closer or further away from the life you're trying to create or how you want to contribute to the world? You can even do this in relationships. People often say, what are you looking for in a partner? But instead, you could think about, do you like who you are when you're with this person? Does this person help you show up as the person that you want to be? Do they help move you towards what matters to you and the kind of person that you want to be? Can also help us make pandemic decisions about how much risk we want to take or what's important to us. Again, there will be some risk as we move forward in the pandemic, but make sure you're using that risk and spending it on things that are really important to you, on things that really matter to you. Can also help us motivate difficult behaviors because we can tie these difficult behaviors to our values. So, again, for example, I go to the gym not to manage weight or for health reasons. It's so I don't yell at my kid at bedtime. Because if I go to the gym, I recharge my battery and I'm actually going to be a more patient parent. And so we can tie some of these values to difficult behaviors about helping us do things that are important to us. And so our values are expressed through our behavior. And one a really important aspect if you have a chronic disease is to have lots of different ways of expressing a value. And so, for example, if you want to be an engaged parent, parenting in and of itself is just a domain. What kind of parent do you want to be? So, do you want to be an engaged parent, compassionate parent, curious parent, right? So, clarifying what kind of parent you want to be. How do you want to show up as a parent? Before you had a chronic condition or a skin condition, there might have been different things that you did. And if you have a chronic condition, some of those things might not be available to you anymore. It is quite common for people to have to change the kind of activities they do. They might not have as much energy. They might not be able to maintain full time employment because of a chronic condition or skin condition. And so those things might not be available to you as behaviors anymore. It doesn't mean you can't express the value. It means we need to find other behavioral ways of expressing the value. And so that might be about reading with your child or spending, time cuddling with your child, reading a book. We also want to think about pacing as a way of being the kind of parent that you want to be. Because if we pace ourselves, then we're more able to be reliable. We're more likely to be able to say that we can do things if we overall manage our energy levels better. And so you can see the video on pacing to get some ideas about that. But this is often an important way of being a reliable parent is by pacing your activities, reducing how much you're doing overall so that you are more consistently able to do the things when you say you're going to do them. Because that's one of the things that's really stressful about having a chronic disease is feeling like you never know whether you can get something done or not. If you pace your activities more and reduce overall how much activity you're doing and just save it for the stuff that matters most, then you're more likely to be able to be more consistent about those things that are important to you. And so you also want to think about, what are your values in terms of contribution? What's important to you in terms of caring about people, in terms of connecting with people? And when we have lots of different ways of expressing those values, it helps us have more psychological flexibility. And there's a lot of data showing that when we have more psychological flexibility, we're actually much more resilient in the face of all kinds of things, including managing chronic conditions.